prices came under heavy selling pressure on Thursday, January 8th, extending the sharp correction seen in the previous session as profit booking set in after the metal's record-breaking rally in 2025. On the multi-commodity exchange or the MCX, silver prices on January 8th plunged by as much as rupees 11,000 per kilogram to hit an intraday low of rupees 2,40,605 on Thursday, while weakness was also visible in global markets. Why did this happen? What are the main reasons? And how will this affect us all? Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to another episode of Deep Dive, co-powered by Expertometer. I'm Shivani Singh and we are going to get a closer look at this steep plunge of silver prices after 5 whole years. In overseas trade, spot silver dropped 2.7% to $76.01 per ounce, which is 6,851 rupees. Though the scale of the decline was milder as compared with domestic markets. 1 ounce is equal to 28.3495 grams. Now, market participants said that the sharp reversal reflected a combination of global cues and technical factors. Anuj Gupta, director at YA Wealth, has noted that COMEX silver is facing resistance near the $79 per ounce mark, with a more decisive hurdle at $82. A sustained bullish trend can only be confirmed if silver crosses above the $82. Once that happens, prices could move towards the $90 per ounce mark. Until then, volatility is likely to remain high. Earlier in the day, MCX silver had surged to a record rupees 2,59,692 per kg, rising by rupees 881 or 0.34% in morning trade. However, prices later slumped sharply, at one point erasing nearly rupees 8,000 per kg from intraday highs before recovering some ground. On Tuesday, in fact, silver had climbed more than 5% to set a new peak, underscoring the intensity of recent swings. Globally, silver has retreated from its all-time high of $83.62 per ounce hit on December 29, 2025. Despite the recent correction, the metal remains one of the best performing commodities, having surged over 147% in 2025 on the back of strong industrial demand and growing investor interest. Silver exchange traded funds or ETFs also mirrored the choppy trend, while some ETFs such as SBI, Axis, HDFC and Tata Silver ETFs traded with marginal gains. Others, including ICICI Prudential, Nippon India, Motilal Oswal, UTI and Zerodha Silver ETFs saw only limited upside, reflecting cautious sentiment among the investors. Analysts continue to warn that silver tends to display higher volatility than gold, often showing bubble-like behavior during sharp rallies. Experts also point to rising geopolitical and economic uncertainties as a key trigger for the sell-off. A HSBC report projects that silver prices are likely to trade in the $58 to $88 range in 2026, supported by a tight physical supply, strong investor demand and elevated gold prices. Sugandha Sachdeva, who is the founder of SS Wealth Street, said that US President Donald Trump's reported approval of a Russia sanctions bill has rattled the markets. The bill allows for punitive tariffs of up to 500% on countries importing crude oil from Russia, raising fears of fresh disruptions in global trade and growth. Now let's talk about what may be the reasons for this. Let's chalk out some of them and understand it. The first reason is silver had surged over 147% in 2025, making it one of the best performing commodities. After hitting record highs, traders moved to book profits, triggering sharp selling pressure, a correction commonly seen after a steep parabolic rally. Now let's take a look at reason number 2. Silver also faced strong technical resistance. Prices failed to decisively cross the $79 per ounce mark, with experts flagging $82 as the key hurdle. Analysts have said that unless silver crosses above the $82 mark, the rally lacks confirmation, prompting traders to sell on every rise. The next reason is that global uncertainty has spooked the markets. Reports that US President Donald Trump has approved a Russia sanctions bill, including tariffs of up to 500%, have rattled all investors. Fears of fresh trade disruptions and a slowdown in the global growth are prompting investors to cut back on their risks. Coming to reason number 4, silver's unique nature is also adding to the pressure. Unlike gold, silver is closely linked to industrial demand. Experts warn that if global growth slows, silver prices tend to fall faster than gold, making the metal more volatile during uncertain times. Finally, reason number 5. Silver carries a built-in volatility premium. Analysts caution that the metal often displays bubble-like behavior during sharp rallies, making it especially vulnerable to sudden and deep corrections when market sentiment turns cautious. So what does this mean for investors? Key support levels are now in focus. On COMEX, silver has support at $75.50 per ounce, while on the MCX, strong support lies near Rs 2,35,000 per kilogram. The critical zone to watch is between Rs 2,42,000 and Rs 2,40,000. A break below this could trigger a further correction of up to Rs 15,000. Experts advise investors to remain cautious as volatility is likely to stay high in the near term. So while silver's long-term story remains intact, driven by the tight supply and industrial demand, the short term tells a very different story. Sharp swings, high risk, and rising uncertainty. That's why experts say that this is not a chase the rally market, but one that demands caution. Let me in fact go across to guests who are joining us to discuss this further. Navneet Damani, Senior Vice President and Head Research Commodities and Currency, Motilal Oswal Financial Services, and Yogendra Kapoor, Economist and Market Experts. Let me first go across to Navneet Damani, who is the Senior Vice President and Head Research Commodities and Currencies of Motilal Oswal Financial Services Limited. Sir, the first question really which on in every investor's mind, is this a good time to buy or sell silver?
Well, I think in the last 10 minutes, you've discussed enough about silver and even all the possible pros and cons levels and what are the breakout and breakdown levels for silver. So I think to adding to that, we think the momentum in silver has been very, very severe over the last 1 year or so. Ever since 2025 till now, we've seen upwards of 170% gains in silver. And market choppiness for the last 7 to 10 days has been beyond somebody's imagination. 10 to 20,000 rupees alternate day movement is not something which retail investors are very comfortable handling. So at this point, we believe that since the froth is built up too much, since there is exuberance in the market, since there is a lot of FOMO activities happening and influencers also influencing a lot of people to get into these metals with the fear of missing out, with targets of upward of 4 lakh rupees, 5 lakh rupees, it is kind of in a bubble-like territory, and where you are bound to see mishaps, you are bound to see extreme volatility, which is where we are currently standing at. We certainly believe that the market is headed higher, the commodity is poised to head higher, but there will be bouts of severe correction on the way. There is one which is already underlying, and there could be another one which could be coming in the next few days. And once market corrects and pauses for the next few weeks and months, that is the time when silver will take the next big leap. Overall, it's a buy on dip market, but for now, we advise caution.
So also, does the sudden rupees 10,000 correction in silver prices really jeopardize the metal's current bullish trend?
Well, not really. We've seen 20,000 rupees upside coming into commodities like silver, and for much of 2025, we've seen these rapid moves come very severely. In fact, there was a point where 25,000 point correction came in, and immediately in the next 2 days, it caught up by about 30,000 points upside. So 10,000 point doesn't bother in terms of percentage. If you see 10,000 points at a 2.5 lakh rupees contract is merely 4%. So something which has gone up 160% has the potential to move up by 4.5-5% every alternate day, and which is what silver is undergoing through. So I am not saying that 10,000 points will jeopardize the entire momentum or rally, but this is a correction and this could extend beyond what we are thinking of.
And so we are obviously seeing a very polarized world. These metals are affected by geopolitical cues that happen across the globe. What is finally your expert advice on silver trading strategy for 2026?
Well, we've been positive on silver for some time now, and with 2026 as the outlook, also we expect that maybe $95 or $100 also could be pretty much on cards. But that comes after a reasonable correction from the current levels. Market has hit 80, $81 twice in the last few days, and if we see the volatility from 71 to $81 was within no time, within maybe 48 trading hours. So that's something we have to keep in mind before we step into silver from a long term perspective. We would be comfortable advising investors to go long around 60 $65, but at the current juncture also we expect that 10-15% or beyond that also correction is very much possible. So anywhere closer to 60 or $65, or on the domestic front 190 to 2 lakh 10,000 rupees could be a level where one should be looking to add silver once again as part of your portfolio, with riding the rally towards 3 lakh and 3 lakh 25,000 eventually.
And so do you also believe that the benchmark that people and experts are talking about, that $82 mark that silver has to cross per ounce, do you think that's a threshold that once that crosses, silver will be able to go rally up higher?
Well, 15 days back, a level like 82 did not exist. It is just that 82 has been hit twice in the last 15 days and market has not gone beyond that. So now that becomes a technical resistance. This is a technical level, not a fundamental indicator or pattern which is having a hurdle out there. Of course, the market is overbought and it will be difficult to remove 82 easily. And in case it breaks $50.5, which is a support level, then you will see it tumbling down towards $65 also in a very short span of time. So 82 remains a hurdle, but I don't see that it will not be taken out anytime soon. It is going to be some consolidation, some price-wise correction before we head beyond 82 in the next few quarters.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for that perspective on this issue. Let me also rope in our second expert who's joining us on the broadcast, Yogendra Kapoor, who's an economist and market expert. Sir, my first question to you as well is, that's the question that basically everyone is seeking to answer and get an answer to. Is it a good time to buy silver, or should you look at selling it?
See, first thing I would like to say is that the answer to that is that people who have booked handsome or good profits in silver, I mean, in terms of people who have held it for more than a year, then they should, basically sell it at the moment, because I would say that going forward, if we look at 2026, will the kind of gains which silver has seen in 2025, will they be sustainable? So my answer is no. The fact is that these have been unprecedented gains that we have seen. So, and also with the aspect of traditional wisdom, that I would also caution the investors not to put all their eggs in one basket, in the sense that they should not put their entire savings in silver by seeing 2025 as the benchmark. So that is how I would say that current trend shows that they should, come out of the market if they are held the silver for over a year, and then they can reinvest in by dividing their portfolio. And in terms of buying it, I would say that in case they intend to hold it for more than a year, then they should buy, silver at the moment.
All right. And sir, do you also believe that the sudden rupees 10,000 correction that is happening in silver prices, that jeopardizes the metal's current bullish trend?
See, I would say that the fall which has taken place right now is in the form of a correction. You see, whenever we see that there is an unprecedented gain that has taken place in the past, so we should expect, certain corrections as such. And I think it's only a sign of more maturity at the moment which is taking place.
And so, do you believe that this is also because of the geopolitical factors?
Yes, definitely. You see, what I would say is that whenever we see that in the world there are geopolitical tensions, then there is an element of, a situation of supply chain disruption, which is perceived by the businesses. We are already seeing that one of the major reasons for the increase for demand for silver in India is on account of the industrial demand that is taking place. Industrial demand, when we talk of that, you have to understand three major industries which are forming part of that industry are the EV industry, and then the solar panels and the electronics industry. All these things have been witnessing a major demand, requirement as such. And the beautiful part is that it's not only the urban consumption which is, driving this demand. It is also the urban, apart from urban, it is the rural consumption also which is reducing the gap. So what is happening is that it's an overall increase in demand that is taking place, and which is I seen is a healthy sign for the industry.
Absolutely. And so, what exactly then is your expert advice on silver trading strategy for 2026, given that you have stated that this metal is very, the demand is increasing, given the sectors that it's utilized in, how do you see 2026 for silver?
See, I will be very clear on that, that in terms of a short-term trading, I would say that the investors need to be very, very cautious, because we will see a kind of volatility in the market, which will also mean a further correction as such. But so far as going to a period of 12 months from now, which is towards the end of 2026, I would definitely see that there will be increase of say 10 to 15% at least from the current levels.
And so, do you also believe on that benchmark that silver is unable to cross? If you do, you believe that if it crosses that $82 mark, it will only see rising trends?
Absolutely. As I said, that India is witnessing increase in industrial demand, and where we see that it's making sense on the ground, not only for the businesses, it is making sense for the ultimate consumers also. When we talk of EV industry, solar panels, electronics, these are things which have become a necessity for consumers, and any saving, that arises on account of this item as such, it only ends up in creation of more money in the hands of people, which ultimately helps them in, reinvesting in the economy. So I think it is here, the gains out of this is here to stay for a while.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the broadcast and providing us with that valuable perspective on silver trading. With that, we are wrapping up this bulletin and slipping into a short break.